Now, I do have another article for you that I wanted to, just a little something I wanted to bring up. Now, it seems as if a child slavery case has been raised against Nestle, and it can proceed. So the U.S. Supreme Court has rejected a bid by 3 of the world's biggest food producers to throw out a lawsuit holding them accountable in a landmark child slavery case. Surprise, surprise. And folks, I just want to remind you, all these big trade deals that you're seeing in the world today, this is where we're going. If they're doing this now, then where are we going to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years' time? Because these big trade deals are not being built for ordinary people. They are being built for corporations and governments which are merging until we are going to we already have it, and I call it GovCorp. It's the government, but it's a corporation at the same time. They are corporations. They're registered with the foreign exchange. Nestle, Archer, Daniels, Midland and Cargill are being sued. This is, by the way, on RT.com, so just credit where credit is due. Being sued for using unpaid children to harvest cocoa in Côte d'Ivoire. Monday's Supreme Court decision backs up a 2014 ruling by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals that refused to dismiss the lawsuit against them. The company stands accused of aiding and abetting human rights violations by purchasing cocoa from Côte d'Ivoire in full knowledge of the country's child slavery problem. 3 individuals filed a class action in 2005. Now keep that in mind, 2005. Our time is speeding up so fast now that we don't even think that's 11 years ago, guys. So that's taken 11 years for this to actually start to get into the serious levels of court proceedings, alleging that they'd been trafficked from Mali as children and forced to work harvesting cocoa beans without pay. They say they say they worked for up to 14 hours a day and suffered physical abuse, including whipping. According to court documents, they were kept in locked rooms, were not working, and were fed only scraps of food. One plaintiff described guards slicing open the feet of child workers trying to escape. The accusers claim the companies offered financial and technical assistance to local farmers to guarantee cheap cocoa and benefited economically from violations of international labour conventions and law. Go figure. In 2010, Nestle successfully stopped a bill in the US Congress that would have made cocoa products carry labels guaranteeing no child labour was used. In 2015, a report by the Fair Labour Association includes Nestle as a member, by the way, found evidence of forced and child labour in Côte d'Ivoire farms used by the company during a number of unannounced visits the previous year. How wonderful. So now we have 1 or 2 people being busted, but the levels of this corruption in our world is off the Richter scale. So don't be distracted by these 1 or 2 that are being busted, because these are just the tip of the iceberg, and they are the distraction to stop you from looking for more. It's like, oh great, they busted Nestle, but there's so many more out there. So I have this theory that 90% of what we're seeing is a hoax, and I know that sounds like a lot, but I truly believe that most of what we're seeing in general in our mainstream media especially is a hoax. I'm not calling this child labour thing a hoax, but I am saying, just to highlight, Nestle's underhanded lobbying of the US Congress to prevent proper labelling is, gee whiz, surprise, surprise. They do the same thing with genetically modified labelling as well, but there's nothing apparently going on. We're not supposed to believe that there's anything. There's no conspiracy here. In my view, when you see labels that say organic, who's to say they are organic? I mean, we just blindly believe what we're told. When they say ethically sourced, says who? Not tested on animals? Lies. Fair trade coffee? Bullshit. Sustainably caught? Garbage. Free-range eggs? Routinely busted using cage eggs. Films that say no animals were harmed during the making of this film, while some companies are genuine, you'll find in the long run that we've been lied to on levels that is frankly mind-boggling. And while Campbell's Soup has recently plugged a PR campaign for adequate labelling of GMOs on their food products, I do seem to recall a white paper that was released several years ago by a chemist claiming that aborted fetus cells had been used in some very famous brands to activate taste buds and enhance flavour. So you see, folks, we've got a long way to go before we can honestly say way that we are being treated with respect, not only as consumers, but as human beings as well. You're listening to the Willow Willis radio show on Fab Radio International, and this is David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust.